4 months ago, a dozen academics and researchers from China's top oil and gas producers issued a warning buried in an academic journal. The nation's quest for self-sufficiency had a critical weak spot. The threat they identified was helium, a colorless, odorless gas with a wide range of uses, from regulating temperatures during semiconductor manufacturing to cooling medical scanning devices, testing for leaks in pipelines, and pressurizing space rocket fuel tanks. The problem was that over 83% of the country's supply came from outside China. Because these supply sources are highly vulnerable to geopolitical shifts, the security of the nation's supply chain now faces a severe challenge, they wrote last December. Fast forward to today, and those fears have materialized with dizzying speed as a historic oil and gas crisis sparked by the U.S. and Israel's war with Iran grips the world. China is now facing what some analysts have described as the worst helium shock in decades, with prices doubling and supplies dwindling. A prolonged disruption, analysts warned, could lead to chip factory shutdowns and delays for life-saving medical imaging, triggering cascading effects across the broader economy that relies on semiconductors, from electronics to vehicles. China's helium supply crunch is a rare vulnerability in what has otherwise been a largely successful push for energy self-sufficiency that has insulated the country from the worst oil crisis in history. The collapse of peace talks between the U.S. and Iran over the weekend and Trump's announcement of a U.S. Navy blockade of the vital Strait of Hormuz have further dashed hopes that material shortages could soon be resolved. And with the halt in helium production in Qatar, which supplies 1/3 of the world's demand and 54% of China's, and collateral damage to related energy facilities, the supply chain could still take years to recover. In the meantime, strains on domestic supply are mounting. With the Qatari issue, it's basically taken so much offline globally that there's no visibility on how we can get a reliable supply moving forward, said Cameron Johnson, a Shanghai-based senior partner at supply chain consultancy Tidal Wave Solutions. A lot of suppliers are basically saying, "We don't have any product to sell. It doesn't matter if you give us $1 million, we have nothing."